Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciplined Mind podcast for Saturday, July 9th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. I am coming to you from the couch in the man cave today. It's just I'm too hot to get into the recording studio. I've been working it Saturday. Let me get some work done. So I'm just trying to cool down a little bit. Kind of in between tasks, and things kind of need a chance to dry, if you will. So I've been doing some mopping, and so I got some time. So time for podcast, and then probably editing over there. You can't see where, but over there. Yeah, do some more editing on Wayward Time. What I thought I'd talk about today is I finished a audiobook this morning for a book on audiobooks.com, which is why I call it audiobooks, called RazorWire by Troy Hallewell. And it is a post-apocalyptic book. I believe the series name is just After Civilization. But basically, you've got all these people that are living in this area called the Wastes. And I think it's supposed to be some chunk of North America, but if he said exactly where, I missed it. But you've basically got, I'm going to say, four basic types of societal constructs. And we start off meeting somebody named Rock, and he's what's called an indie, short for individual. Just somebody that doesn't want to be around other people, wants to be by himself. He travels the wastes alone. Trading, and there could probably be good ones and there could be bad ones. And then you've got a family, which would be a small group of people, a clan, which is a little bit bigger than, that's probably like a group of 4 to 10 families, something, probably 2 to 10 families, something like that. And then you got a tribe, and tribes are pretty massive. And you start off with Rock is taking out some bandits. And after he kills the bandits, he finds this woman named Caroline who had been taken prisoner by them. And so she manages to convince him to take her to her tribe. And since tribes are so big, he figured that it wouldn't be that tough, and he's been promised some payment. So speaking of payment, the money used in this world are called dusters, what we would call bullets. And bullets are important because nobody can make the casings. The technology has slid to the point where nobody can pound out brass casings anymore. So empty brass casings are valuable. People will put new bullets in them, and they are used as a currency as well. So it's very all the guns are from before the apocalypse, whatever it was, and I don't think we're ever told what the apocalypse is. And all the casings are from before the apocalypse too. Now there are certain people that can take the casings, that you can trade the casings to, and they will, they at least know how to do gunpowder and lead apparently, and put new bullets on there. But as far as being able to do the fine manufacturing of the brass casings, they can't do that. So you got people that are just you got people that are good people. Like Rock is a good person. He's really quiet. He likes to be alone. He doesn't talk much, and he's not necessarily thrilled with having to help Caroline. But he's not a bad guy. But then you get people like the bandits that are that are also trying to take advantage. We see a couple of people like that. They're just looking out for themselves and not anybody else, and looking to screw over anybody they can. So the whole point of the plot is is that Caroline had a mission, and she got waylaid on her mission. And she was sent to her by her tribe to this place called the Wall Without Walls, which is a cool name, I must say. And it is a area of land that if you try to pass it, everybody dies. If you try to cross this bit of land, there's a scene where Rock remembers being at the wall and kind of looking through a looking glass, and you can see all these bodies with like a nice neat hole right here in the middle of their forehead. So it's kind of like, there's a sniper there someplace or something like that. Well, she has a coin, Caroline has a coin that supposedly came from beyond the Wall Without Walls. So they think there's a people there. And so her mission is to go through the Wall Without Walls, which is pretty much deemed impossible, to get help for this threat. And there is this incredible threat called the Vorin. Now, if you can kind of imagine what it was probably like when the Huns were all of a sudden emerging on the plains there in Mongolia and fighting the peoples there, and they were just like a flood and nobody could stand up to them. That's what the Vorin are like. They're on horseback. I mean, there's a lot of horses around, but they're on horseback and they've got these massive bows, and they shoot these big thick arrows that just do an amazing amount of damage. And they're really good. They're really good shots. They've trained their horses to be relatively steady, and they've trained them to where they can be, launching a bow from horseback and just guiding the horse with the pressure of their legs. And they're just totally ruthless. If the Vorin come to your town, the Vorin will ride out and everybody's dead. And they're just laying waste, pardon the pun, across the waste, and they're just killing everybody. And Caroline's tribe has already ran into these guys and been able to fight them off to a certain extent, but they've also been driven from their homelands because they're usually from another part of the waste, and now they've kind of come to the part where Rock is at, and so they've sent her. She is the chieftain's daughter for her tribe, which were called the Jernea, I believe. And so she was sent on this mission to go across the Wall Without Walls to hopefully get help to bring what they think is maybe an overriding force to come and help. So when Rock returns her to her tribe, they're a little disconcerted to see her because she's supposed to be off getting help. And so they end up with, they hire Rock to escort her to the Wall Without Walls so that she can get there and do what she needs to do. And he agrees to do that, once again for payment. Not doing anything for free. This is a very trade-based society. And they get to the land between the waste where they're at and the Wall Without Walls. There's a river that divides it, and so they just get to the river, and there is a settlement. It is they call it the first city of the waste, and they're calling it Centralia, which kind of points out something interesting geographically, although we aren't really told much. And they kind of get involved in some things there with the people in Centralia. They got a mayor and all this stuff. So it was a really interesting story. I did enjoy it. I always love post-apocalyptic thing, and I liked how he had the various cultures of the various tribes. Because at one point, the guy who is the mayor of Centralia calls as many of the tribes together as he can and says, "Hey, we need to band together to fight the Vorin. And this is the place to do it because we're dug in, we've got fortifications." And, these wanderers, and I don't know how long it's supposed to have been since since whatever the apocalypse was, but I think it's supposed to be a number of generations. They're used to wandering, and they want to, and the thought of moving into a set place and staying there seems alien to them. So there's lots of good action in this story. There is a lot of interesting things about the relationship between Rock and Caroline. I think they're falling for each other. Rock has done a lot for her. He had this, one of the things that they would do is they would bare their chests. When you meet somebody on the road, you would bare your chest to show that you're not wearing armor. Now, Rock had this armor called dragon armor, which is basically like a scaled kind of armor. Well, it's not really from dragons, but that's what they called it. And so it could part in the middle, so he could bare his chest, but then when his thing closed, he was armored again. And at one point, they were traveling with this guy. It was actually one of the guys that refills the dusters. And Rock got injured, and this guy saw that he had dragon armor. Dragon armor is mondo, priceless, basically. It's just priceless. And so there are groups of I don't want to call them bandits, but they're almost like, they're like bounty hunters, but they're not, without any kind of they're just not doing their own thing, but they are specifically hunting down sets of dragon armor. And through the treachery of the duster guy, they end up coming for Rock, because now they found out that he had dragon armor, which is something he was keeping secret. And he ended up giving that up for Carolyn. And, that's a big sacrifice. I mean, because that could be the difference between life and death out there in the wastes. A couple other things he did like that which were fairly good-sized sacrifices for her. So I think he's got, more feelings for her than he's really willing to admit. The reading was really well done. I really enjoyed his style for reading. He did do a voice for Rock. Rock's got this gravelly, low voice. Not quite like that. But, and then he's got the Mayor Jude of Centralia. He kind of gave him a southern twang. He didn't do much with Caroline's voice. He didn't really try to do a woman's voice, which is good, because I don't think most of us guys can really do it very well. So I thought the read was good. I enjoyed the characters. It's an interesting setting. The cultures I thought were really interesting. My biggest beef is just at the end, because I kind of felt like, we weren't going to necessarily, well, it says right on Pottery Books, it's book 1 of a series. So obviously there was going to be some continuation of the storyline beyond this book, but he really left it at a cliffhanger. There wasn't a whole lot that was resolved, and the very last line of the book, he's like, he drops a major bombshell. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, what? All this time, you've not, it was something to do with Rock. It's like, all this time, you've not mentioned this, and it's very germane to what's going on. And it's like, wait, what? So, and the other thing is the second book isn't out yet. So I can't just dive into book 2. If it was there, I would have it loaded up already, probably, but it's not out yet. So, Troy, if you listen to this, get that damn thing done. I want to see what comes next. But that is at pottybooks.com. Once again, the book is called RazorWire, all one word. I don't know if we ever got told what the meaning of the word was in relation to this, in relation to this world. What does the term razor? I mean, I know what razor wire is, but it wasn't like razor wire was used or even specifically mentioned that I recall. So I'd be curious to see, maybe I just missed it. It's possible. It's a cool title, but I don't really remember how it related. Other than it's something that's really sharp and will hurt you, and there's lots of stuff in this world that's really sharp and will hurt you. So yeah, RazorWire. I would recommend picking it up. You can do that by going to pottybooks.com, and actually all you really need to do is open up Google and do Pottybooks space RazorWire, and it'll be like the first or second result, because that's what I did today to get on there to see if he had book 2 out yet, and that worked well. So that's what I was thinking about talking about today. And I'm already at 15 minutes, so I guess I better shut up for the day. I will be back on Monday, and I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.